Although a global pandemic remained headline news in 2021, several local stories stick out when reflecting on the year. Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now's Year in Review. I'm Justin Gould. From a local police officer who rescued a family trapped by fire to the return of area traditions, we're looking back at the year that was. We started the year with an effort by local, state, and federal law enforcement to bring an end to a drug ring in Jamestown. Just a week into January, the FBI joined several local police agencies in raiding homes in the Jamestown and Falconer area. Known as Operation Crazy Ivan, police recovered pounds of marijuana, cocaine, and dozens of firearms and hundreds of rounds of ammunition and thousands of dollars in cash. In the same month, the first doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were rolled out. While the initial shots were administered at local hospitals, in the coming months, the county began to roll out several mass vaccination clinics, giving shots to thousands of adults.
We ask them as they're entering the hall to take their coat off, get their arm exposed, and get ready. They're going to sit down in the chair. The nurse is going to go over some brief medical information with them just to make sure that it is safe for them to get the vaccine. Once we determine that, the nurse is going to give them the shot, and the data processor will put the information into the computer. It's that simple.
Later in the year, kids would have their chance too, like 9-year-old Gabriel.
It was a little painful, but not that. It kind of stung a little bit, but it was actually not that painful if you just look away.
Explained 9-year-old Gabriel, who was among the first youth in Chautauqua County to get the COVID-19 vaccine. While some parents may be hesitant to have their children vaccinated, Jamestown mother Corinne Case says she is confident in the science.
We did our research, we talked to doctors and read articles, and we felt that the rewards outweighed the risks at this point to get them vaccinated now. It's very safe. They were fine. They weren't hurt when they were doing the shot, when they got the shot, and we think that it's just very important to protect them now and keep them safe and healthy.
Case's daughters Cameron and Caroline tell us they hope their friends get the shot so they can have sleepovers and playdates once again.
It was really good. It didn't hurt at all. I think it's important because I really didn't want to be quarantined and away from my friends and out of sports.
Around 208 children were vaccinated during the clinic, with 140 kids registered for Saturday's encore at SUNY Fredonia. Appointments are still available online at chqgov.com.
I didn't really know what to expect today as far as numbers go. It is a very controversial topic to get kids vaccinated at this age group. So I really wasn't sure what to expect, but I'm really glad to see the turnout here tonight. And again, it's not just about the kids that are getting the shots tonight, but also protecting those who can't.
Alana Wingate, WNY News Now.
One of the more controversial executive orders during the COVID-19 pandemic involved the moratorium on evictions. We spoke with a local landlord who dealt with a former tenant who she says manipulated the system.
Everybody else has paid their rent.
Even though her tenant hadn't paid rent for several months, landlord Patty Culleton knew she couldn't evict him because of the state order. The man at times also claimed to be sick with COVID-19, preventing a check of the property. After months of back and forth with her tenant, Culleton thought she would find some relief when he announced he was moving out. However, she found the complete opposite, an abandoned apartment left in total ruin.
When I pushed the door open, I was bombarded with these flies. Like, this is February. We shouldn't have flies everywhere. The smell was horrific. The flies were everywhere. And then the filth speaks for itself. And I just got angry. I wanted to cry. I wanted to throw up. I didn't know what to do.
She says the filth stretched from every end of the house. In the end, Culleton hopes that the landlords take notice and prevent the occurrence from happening to them. Getting people back to work was on the mind of many, including then Governor Andrew Cuomo. However, he was not able to see the state through the pandemic amid several scandals, from his handling of COVID-19 deaths in nursing homes to the sexual harassment of women. In August, Cuomo resigned, an act that came as a surprise to many.
I think it was the right thing to do for the state of New York. I also think it was the right thing to do for the governor personally. Assemblyman Andy Goodell says the impeachment process is long, so he believes the governor did the right thing. Some Western New Yorkers we spoke to agree. Morgan Cornell was surprised to hear the news the governor resigned, but happy he did after a growing number of sexual harassment allegations.
Especially when he was big on the no tolerance of sexual harassment, and then come to find out he was actually committing the acts himself, so it was kind of surprising.
Michael Corey was disappointed that even though Cuomo resigned, he maintains his innocence, blaming his behavior on generational differences in workplace behavior.
Never crossed the line with anyone.
Took too long, I think. And seeing that his language didn't seem to convey that, he really respected, how he made people feel.
I think he probably should have stepped down earlier, but I think that many of the allegations might be trumped up politically.
Steve Bush, on the other hand, thinks Cuomo should have resigned earlier, but for some different reasons. Haley Potter, Erie News Now.
The sudden resignation gave way to the state's first female governor, Kathy Hochul.
I want people to believe in their government again. It's important to me that people have faith. Our strength comes from the faith and the confidence of the people who put us in these offices, and I take that very seriously.
Hochul then worked to separate herself from the embattled governor, whose legacy will still be felt for years to come. His tenure was challenged by many, including local police officers, who blamed the revolving door of the justice system on New York State's bail reform laws. However, one legacy won't be challenged in 2021. Jamestown City Councilwoman Victoria James, who passed away suddenly in late March.
I think this whole city, like I said, just not her district, owes her a lot because she was a foot soldier. She definitely paved the way for a lot of us, and she definitely set us up all for success.
Coming up, a look at the history made in 2021 when the rights of all took center stage, and why protesters took to the streets of Jamestown.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Welcome to Honest John's Pizzeria, where you are the most important customer.
Everything from freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has it all.
And don't forget the ice cream!
Order online today or check out our 2 great locations with buffets ready for every appetite.
Don't I have the best job in the world?
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Welcome back to WNY News Now's 2021 Year in Review. I'm Justin Gould. A new exhibit focusing on the LGBTQ history in Chautauqua County debuted, telling several stories, including that of a longtime City of Jamestown lawmaker. The city also held its first ever Pride Festival.
If you are a transgendered individual, person of the trans community, and you need to change your name, you need to change your gender, you need to change anything about what the government has given you, you need to go through state Supreme Court. And what you face are judges that have no idea what it's like to live your life, what it's like to have to make that a public information about changing a part of you that was assigned at birth or assigned by the government.
That's why Sundquist says vying for a judicial candidate, Grace Hanlon, to the state court is important for the Pride community.
To have a member of the LGBT community be a judge, the first judge in this history of our district, of the 8 counties of Western New York, to be an LGBT judge that knows what that feeling is like, is something we have never seen.
Longtime advocate for LGBTQIA+ rights, Helen Walters, was among those in the transgender community who spoke out about the importance of hosting the affair.
Pride is our defense. The first thing that the people who want to put us back into the closet do is try to shame us. Every criticism of the LGBTQ community has the phrase "shame on you" attached to it. You're a sinner, shame on you. It's unnatural, shame on you. You're abusing children, shame on you. Shame is the tool they try to use to push us back into the closet. And the way to fight that shame is to say, hell no, I don't buy that premise. I am proud of who I am. I am proud of who I present myself to be.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Statues were stolen and vandalized, causing many to take a stand.
What we saw there was swastikas, was specific white supremacist numbers and code words on the statues of people that worked on the Underground Railroad. So that's white supremacy. That's what we're fighting against, is what we're standing against.
Voices also rang loud over New York's vaccine mandate for healthcare workers, an act that forced many off the job, like CNA Celia Sumner.
The government shouldn't tell me what I should do with my own body, for one. And two, I've seen so many people get hurt from it, such as my uncle. He got grand mal seizures not long after getting the first dose.
From wind turbine protests to wind storms, the year brought wild weather too. For one woman, things were too close for comfort after lightning struck her home.
At roughly 7:10 Wednesday night, Michelle Vullo and her longtime boyfriend were riding out the storm that was blanketing Jamestown when
we heard a tremendous boom, immediately coinciding with a blackout in our house. It sounded like 3 double-barrel shotguns going off at close range at the same time.
After a moment of initial confusion, Vullo's boyfriend called the fire department. She says within 5 minutes, firefighters were at her home to investigate. No one was exactly sure where the blast first made contact, but things became more clear in the morning.
In the light of day, we did see some damage to this pine tree behind the garage. So we now believe, based on the fact that one of the outlets in the garage was actually blown apart that had an appliance plugged into it, we now believe that it hit the tree, grounded through the garage, traveled along the underground ground line, and closed out about 4 of the breakers in the panel box.
With many electronics still plugged in, she says quite a few items will have to be replaced.
A satellite dish receiver, that actually won't even power back on. The television itself would not power back on. The computer powers on but has no output whatsoever. And of course that was a lot of static and voltage coming through. Of course the outlet fire that happened from attempting to turn on the breaker, the kitchen light fixture, had a security camera DVR.
The tenant cites approximately $1,200 to $1,500 of electronic replacement damages, with the majority being covered by renter's insurance.
Even though we had a lot of damage last night and it was very stressful and there was a lot of phone calls to make, this morning we were able to kind of take a look and say, hey, at least nobody was hurt. Nobody was in the bathtub or shower. Yeah. Nothing did catch on major fire. We had that small outlet fire, but beyond that, no further hot spots or anything, or sparks. So it could have been much, much worse.
In classic Jamestown fashion, the neighbors have been hugely supportive as well.
Offering anything we might need, freezer space, if we needed dinner, coffee, you name it, they were there to offer. So that was amazing. That's part of the community, why we are here.
Ultimately, the whole fiasco ended without much more affair. For WNY News Now, I'm Jason Rutman.
Wow, we are sure lucky no one got hurt there. Next, as our year in review pushes on, we look back at water problems for one local city, why officials said this was the biggest water main break in that town's history. And later, we hear from the daughter of a Jamestown woman who was murdered decades ago, why her mom's story made headlines.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
What could you lose in a home fire? Your possessions? Your home? Your memories? Don't let your world go up in smoke. Make sure you have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones, because fire is everyone's fight.
This message was brought to you by the Jamestown Fire Department and the Chautauqua Safety Village.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Remember when you were a kid, huddled around the television waiting for your school to close? Well, we don't get snow days. When winter weather hits, count on the First Defense Weather Team for a look into the future where the snow is headed next. Live radar showing you the scope of the storm, and real-time reports from the field. So when it matters most, stay with First Defense Weather.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now. With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Welcome back to WNY News Now's Year in Review. I'm Justin Gould. Water problems were top priority in Dunkirk, with the largest water main break in the municipality's history back in August.
It happened about midnight. There's a 120-year-old water line below our feet, and it's made out of cast iron, and sometimes they wear out, and this one just chose to wear out last night, and it was very difficult geometry of the pipe, so it was difficult to shut off. Usually we can isolate these things. It also happened to be the largest pipe we have in the city, so a lot of volume of water. You know, these things happen from place to place, but this is our worst nightmare.
A ton of water was used to extinguish a massive blaze at the former Jamestown Royal Upholstery Company, a fire allegedly set by teen girls.
We had like large pieces of debris like this big, and then there was also like small pieces that were like paper. We found some like burned pages that had letters on them still, like writing, and then there was like other pieces that looked like almost to be part of like the roof or something that was like, it was ash, but it wasn't ash that fell apart when you touched it. It was still a whole like piece.
Meanwhile, answers were sought in several criminal cases, with new and old discoveries making headlines.
You never know who knows something. You never know what information is valuable to the case. Even the smallest details could be the most important, could be the silver bullet.
Explained Allison Bindix, daughter of Jamestown area mother Yolanda Bindix, who was murdered decades ago. Her story gathered national attention when it was featured on the syndicated crime show Still a Mystery. Today, another mystery is among top priorities for local law enforcement after not one, but 2 sets of remains were found along a trail in northern Chautauqua County in September. One body was found to be that of missing Buffalo woman Marquita Mole, while the others are unidentified.
That body was estimated to be decades that had been in the ground, which could potentially match with the 1976 disappearance of Patricia Lammerhart, but it could also be further. And Dr. Dirkment and his team are continuing to analyze and assess that to hopefully give us a little better determination on that.
Families continue to seek answers not just in those deaths, but the deaths of a 22-year-old Jamestown man who fatally overdosed. In the end, the sisters of Randy Messler Jr. hope their brother's story inspires other addicts who are struggling to get help.
Get help if you need help. Don't worry about judgment. And if your family, fight. Fight until the system helps you. Do not let them just throw your loved one on the street, because this shouldn't have happened.
Billions were allocated as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, including to Chautauqua County, who received $24.6 million. The city of Jamestown, which received $28 million, and Dunkirk grabbing $11 million. Yet not everyone was in agreement as to where the money should be spent. Voters made their voices heard in 2021 as well, with many seeing Republican leadership as the way to go. The Republicans swept the night, winning several seats in many levels of government, including Jamestown City Council. One race is still up in the air about who will replace Ward 5 Councilman Grant Olson, who technically won re-election, but resigned before Election Day.
He was elected 2 years ago as a Republican, so we will be able to replace him with another Republican, and we will start talking to some of the Ward 5 Republicans and see if we can find a good candidate.
Coming up, we recount a daring rescue of a Jamestown family trapped by flames, which made national news in 2021. Plus, we head back to the ball game as WNY News Now's look back at the year that was continues.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
Hi, I'm Al Steffens, owner of Chautauqua Comics. For the last 28 years, we have been your premier retailer of comic books. But we have so much more.
Located at 214 Fairmount Avenue in Jamestown, the shelves are stocked with everything from superhero to classic G.I. Joe and Star Wars. Looking for Pokemon? Chautauqua Comics has it all.
If you have any questions, stop in today or give us a call. Chautauqua Comics, Al speaking.
Happy Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Happy New Year.
I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Jesus was the greatest gift that God could have sent us.
I send you much love.
It's not just what we say, it's what we do.
Local first. It isn't just our slogan. It's our mindset every single day. So whether you're watching our daily live streams or staying up to date with reports on our website and mobile app, you'll always see the same attention to detail from reporters who passionately care about our community, who have one goal in mind: to always put the facts first.
For me, it's more than just getting the forecast right. What I love the most about my job is that I come into work every day to help break down the weather, letting people know how this is going to impact their day. We take pride that First Defense Weather is the only local weather team in the Southern Tier. We don't just copy and paste our weather from outside sources. Every part of our forecast is handmade right here in-house, something our team really takes pride in.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first. With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Welcome back to WNY News Now's 2021 Year in Review. I'm Justin Gould. On sunny days last year, we hit the lake when a historic ferry returned to service and went out to the ball game for the first time in what seemed like forever when the Tarp Skunks hit the field.
Baseball fans in Jamestown returned to the ballgame for the first time in years during the Jamestown Tarp Skunks home opener Thursday night. The Skunks began their season hosting the Batavia Muck Dogs in a historic setting that dates back to Russell E. Dietrich Jr. Park, then Municipal Stadium's grand opening in the 1940s. The Pepsi-sponsored opening night, which included live music and food before the game, The team honored the family of a player who kicked off baseball at the historic park over 80 years ago. Then, Chautauqua County Executive P.J. Wendell took the field throwing the first pitch. Fans were ecstatic to get back to baseball, including Lakewood resident and longtime fan Marilyn Ryan Piper.
We are looking for some not-so-smelly excitement. We got a little skunk here.
Yeah, Whiffy Jr.
Whiffy, this is Whiffy Jr., the new mascot.
Another couple of longtime fans, Chad Peterson and Desiree Brown, hit the park for date night. They too were extremely happy to have baseball back.
I've been sitting around too long and it's just too much cabin fever. I'm ready for some live sports of some sort.
He adds they have been coming to watch local baseball games for decades.
We came and saw the Jammers and the Expos. Just keep the tradition going because it's, like I said, it's been here. Park's been here since 1941, so it's a staple at Jamestown.
Not only are the two glad to be together, but at the game as well.
I wouldn't want to go anywhere else.
Yeah.
We love baseball. We watch it every night, so it's perfect.
Also in attendance was Russell E. Dietrich Jr., of whom the park was named after, and he tells us that the fan turnout was of no surprise to him.
Well, I'm probably as excited as anybody here. It's marvelous to see this wonderful crowd. The facility just stands out, and I'm not surprised about anything. It doesn't surprise me. It's a beautiful field. It doesn't surprise me. It's almost a full house. So it's just wonderful. Great to be here with all these great people.
Finally, it wasn't just the Tarp Skunks and the Mark Dogs that were in attendance, but the Jamestown Knights, a local youth baseball team that showed their support during the opener. Where's your team from?
Jamestown.
Jamestown, yeah? What age group are you?
11U. I'm
12U. Okay, is your whole team here?
Yes. Yeah, the whole program.
Yeah? Did you used to come to the Jammers games?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's cool. Did you guys go out any of the pregame stuff, the trucks or the music?
Yeah.
You guys hope to play here someday?
Yeah.
For those who are not able to attend the home opener, there will be many more games to choose from throughout the summer. For more information, visit tarpskunks.com. I'm Christian Reithmeller, WNY News Now.
It wasn't just baseball that was back, but football too, with the Jamestown Red Raiders football team returning home as section champions. We also returned to commencement, got new garbage cans, and even a new mascot. We hailed a new hero as well. The Jamestown police officer who helped save a family that woke up to their home completely engulfed in flames says he was simply at the right place at the right time. Officer Mark Conklin, in his first television interview since the rescue, was on another call around 12:20 Monday morning when he was alerted to the massive William Street blaze.
We just ran, basically to investigate, see what it was.
What he found was a structure fully engulfed in flames. The heat so hot it melted siding of a nearby home.
Initially, I really didn't even feel the heat because adrenaline is just so high.
Explained Conklin while discussing the rescue of a child jumping from the porch roof of the single-family home.
I got you.
I knew they couldn't stay up there for long, so they had to get off somehow.
The footage from Officer Conklin's body camera has since gone viral. Jamestown Police Chief Tim Jackson says it's not only important for the public to see his heroic actions, but other police officers too.
It inspires the other officers, it inspires myself, and you can't train for it. It's in his heart.
In addition to the troves of well wishes posted online by many from not just here locally, but from across the nation as well, Jamestown Police Chief Tim Jackson tells me that Officer Conklin will be getting some more recognition.
He will also be recognized at City Council this Monday.
As for the praise, Conklin is grateful, but says,
Well, I'd say thank you, but honestly, this is what first responders do all over the world every day. I was at the right place at the right time, and I'm glad I could help.
Miraculously, no one was injured. However, Brooke and Hector Rivera, along with their 4 kids, lost everything. Officer Conklin and many in the community are now lending a hand.
We're here for them, and I think the whole community's here for them.
The officer was among those honored during this year's holiday parade, an event that was back in full swing.
I get the honor of being able to walk in the parade with others, but what I like to do the most is to do high fives and to just talk to some of our kids, our families that are here. That's the best part of this.
So far, all I see is thumbs up, Justin, from Santa.
Well, now that was not all of the stories our newsroom, of course, covered in 2021. They were among the most talked about. With the Year in Review, I'm Justin Gould. We hope you have a happy new year. and hope to see you as WNY News Now continues our coverage into 2022 and beyond.